time to get back to the ranking. With this installment, we're officially halfway done with the series. So let's get started with most average cards in the original set.
81. Golbat. Golbat is one of the more forgettable cards in the series and Pokemon in general. The 60 HP isn't great as attacks are too expensive for what they can do. Wing Attack might have a benefit in at least being all colorless, but a second stage doing 30 damage to 3 energies with no conditions is nothing special. Leech Life isn't much better, which also costs the same amount of energy. Does 10 damage less, but at least it heals for 20. While it's not that bad, it's still costly and just slowly delaying the inevitable, and that 60 HP will be gone in no time. Its resistance of course is welcome, but Golbat just doesn't cut it, and is inferior to many other second stages. 80. Ivysaur. Like Bulbasaur, it's still the worst of the middle starter evolutions. Too little HP, too much energy, and too little power are holding it back. Vine Whip is far too expensive for a measly 30 damage, and while the colorless costs definitely help it, there are still far better grass options to put that energy to use. Poison Powder is decent with its certainty of poison, but also makes Vine Whip almost unnecessary as it ends up doing nearly identical damage and costs the same amount of energies. Even if you got a poison hit in, Ivysaur probably isn't going to last long if you use additional Vine Whips, so it's nothing on Wartortle or Charmeleon with its minimal damage output, low HP, and poor attack synergy. 79. Seaking. Like Goldeen, Seaking's attacks are thought in about 10 seconds. Has the same 10 damage 1 energy attack as Goldeen, but now is Waterfall, a 2 energies for 30 damage trade-off, which is simply okay. Does have a decently high 70 HP for a second stage water type, but loses Goldeen's free retreat cost, which could have set it apart from the myriad of water types available. I think I just put more thought in analyzing this card than the creators did in coming up with it. 78. Weeping Bell. This is one of the few second stages in the game that's better than its final evolution, which is really sad considering Weeping Bell isn't even that good. To start, Poison Powder is a slight upgrade from Bellsprout's Vine Whip with its 50% chance of poisoning. Razor Leaf isn't much better, but it only costs 2 energies for 30 damage, so it's at least stronger than any of Victory Bell's attacks. Victory Bell's 10 HP advantage is not even close enough to make it the superior card. Overall, it's average for a second stage grass type, but at least it's the best card in one of the worst evolution lines in the game. 77. Slowbro. Slowbro is definitely a vast improvement from Slowpoke, but it's still something of a joke compared to other psychic types. Strange behavior is like Alakazam's damage swap, if damage swap was horribly ineffective. Slowbro doesn't have enough HP to be a damage tank. There's no reason why it shouldn't have less than 80 HP if it has its Pokemon power. Even if you throw 50 damage on Slowbro as a shield, there are still possibilities for bench damage that will destroy it. Psyshock isn't much better, and many second stages have far better attacks for 2 energies. Overall, Slowbro isn't horrible, but it's just inferior to Alakazam in every way possible. 76. Metapod. It's a fairly noticeable step up from Caterpie with nearly twice its HP and twice the attack power. It's an average evolution. It has 2 attacks, but Stiffen is one of the worst moves in the game and is just as horrible as Withdraw. So there's really no point using Stiffen instead of Stun Spores, as the same chance of success, costs the same number of energies, and paralyzing your opponent is far more effective than simply preventing damage. Metapod is rather bland, and while it's not the best evolution out there, at least it's slightly more useful here than in the video game, and doesn't really deserve that common rarity. 75. Kakuna. While Caterpie was slightly superior to Weedle, Kakuna reclaims that spot just by a fraction. That 10 HP advantage is a slight edge in its favor. Apparently it's enough for Wizard of the Coast too, as Kakuna earns that uncommon rating while Metapod was stuck with common. Its 20 damage Poison Powder is a typical 2 energy status inflicting attack. Getting poisoned with 20 damage instead of 10 might not seem like much, but that extra poison damage that comes is potentially deadly, especially against cards that are too heavy to retreat. Stiffness trash is already mentioned in the Metapod analysis, but regardless, Kakuna is a mildly viable option to consider. 74. Raticate. It's a step up from Rattata, to say the least. Has the same bite attack, but at least can survive a jab from Hitmonchan with 60 HP. Super Fang is an interesting and unique move, but it's expensive and most times only slightly more powerful than Bite, so taking out anything with 60 or more HP will need at least 3 turns, which isn't as appealing as that first blow seems to promise, so you're really better off not even powering up anything with Bite. Overall, there are too many other normal types in the game that are better choices than Raticate. Not that it's bad, it's just outclassed. 73. Wheezing. It's too bad Wheezing isn't much of an upgrade to Coughing. So little so that you really have to think before evolving it, and that's never a good thing. Smog does 10 damage more than Foul Gas, but can only poison as a 50% chance of doing so, making it somewhat of a downgrade. Self-Destruct makes Wheezing slightly better than Coughing, but since it will knock you out, it's a dangerous strategy to be planned and timed carefully. Besides, a 60 damage Self-Destruct for 3 energies isn't all that powerful, and the 10 damage to all bench Pokemon is underwhelming compared to Magneton's 20 damage effect. With a low second stage HP and 2 average attacks, Wheezing is as big of a disappointment as that third tiny head must have felt after evolving. 72. Machoke. Machoke is an extraordinary powerhouse for the first turn you play it. After that, its abilities work against each other. You want to use Submission to decimate your opponent, but when you do, it slowly takes you down and makes Karate Chop weak. Your best bet is to get 1 or 2 successful Karate Chops in, and then go out with a Submission for what would hopefully be a double KO. Because of that, Submission is a less suicidal self-destruct, but it is rather expensive for its high drawback and overall hindrance. There are certain situations when you have to use it and you'll be glad you had it, but for the most part, Machoke is too self-destructive and heavy to retreat to be good, and ends up turning itself to a scrawny weakling after 1 or 2 turns.
So all things considered, it would seem that Cocoon is the most average card in the original set, which makes sense to me. Next installment will be out shortly and contains more of the average, or in this case especially a lot of normal type cards. Remember to like and subscribe. Until next time.